Getting caught up in the heat of the moment can lead people to act irrationally. It can make them do things they never thought they were capable of doing. Road rage is a particularly common source of this irrationality. In the United States alone, there are 30 murders per year attributed to road rage. We'll be looking at one of those murders today, but it is not the murder that is the subject of this story. It is the disappearance of the murderer. Escaping sentencing in 1993, declared legally dead in 2004, but added to the FBI's most wanted list in 2010, and still being actively hunted to this day. The murder is cut and dry. The mystery is what happened after. Welcome and thank you for joining me. The story I have for you this evening is one of mystery. We'll be taking a look at how a convicted murderer escaped sentencing and has been missing for over 27 years and is currently wanted by the FBI, despite being declared dead more than 16 years ago. This is the mysterious disappearance of Adam Emery. His name was infamous in Rhode Island in the early 90s. Adam Emery was working as an employee in a plastics company, but not much else is known about him. He was born on November 10th, 1962, making him just 27 years old on the day that he took the life of an innocent man. On the evening of August 31st, 1990, Adam Emery was out with his wife Elena and another couple. The two couples had just picked up food from a local restaurant in Rocky Point. Before they could go anywhere, their car was sideswiped by a passing vehicle. The car was said to have sped away and disappeared around a corner. Adam's wife Elena yelled out, "That's the car, let's chase them." The two couples got back into the Emery's car and Adam began speeding after the culprit, clearly enraged. Elena pointed out the car, a Ford LTD. As they approached the other car, Adam shouted at the driver to pull over, insisting he had damaged his car. The other driver was 22-year-old Jason Bass, and he had no idea what Adam Emery was yelling about. What he did know was that Adam was angry, and he reportedly felt threatened, refusing to pull over as Adam demanded. This didn't sit well with Adam Emery, as he sped up to cut off Jason and block the road. Having blocked the road, Adam began exiting his vehicle to confront the man he believed to have hit his car. On his way out, his wife Elena handed him a military-style knife. Jason and his passengers were nervous, understandably, and tried to get away from the man approaching their car. Jason's cousin Joshua Post described the man as unbelievably mad, screaming, "I'm gonna kill you." Jason tried to back away, however Adam jumped onto the hood of the car to prevent them from leaving. He then moved around to the driver's side window and stabbed Jason directly in the heart. Jason died instantly. All passengers from both vehicles got out. The exchange between Adam and Jason was over as quickly as it had begun. It seemed that it didn't even occur to anyone that they were chasing the wrong car. Jason didn't even have time to defend himself, let alone explain himself. Analysis of the paint chips from Adam Emery's car would confirm that Jason was not the driver involved in the collision. Adam Emery was arrested and reportedly held in jail for 8 months. It said that the delay in putting up bail was due to his lawyer negotiating putting up money and property to pay the fee. Emery was offered a plea deal for the lesser charges of voluntary manslaughter, carrying a prison term of 5 to 7 years. However, he refused this deal, insisting that he had acted in self-defense. The trial wouldn't begin for more than 3 years, finally starting on November 5th, 1993. During the trial, Adam's testimony was said to have been very rigid. It said that he never expressed any remorse for having killed a man, even considering the man he killed was innocent. He insisted that he acted in self-defense, claiming he stabbed Jason Bass to protect himself. This is very clearly a lie. Adam Emery chased Jason down in his car, speeding to catch up with him. He then obstructed the road to trap him, ran and jumped onto his vehicle, and as Jason attempted to escape, he stabbed him directly in the heart. There was nothing to defend himself against. Adam was the aggressor. He acted irrationally, and on that evening, he became a murderer. His cold, remorseless demeanour did him no favours in court. After just 5 days, the trial ended on November 10th, 1993. On his 31st birthday, Adam Emery was found guilty of the second-degree murder of Jason Bass. He was allowed to remain free on bail pending his formal sentencing a month later, and so Adam left the courthouse that day to await his fate. However, he would not return for his sentencing, and he would not face justice. The car driven by Adam and Elena Emery was discovered later that same evening, at around 6:53 p.m. on a Newport bridge. It was abandoned with the engine still running and the lights on. In the car were neatly folded clothes, cash, cut-up credit cards, and Adam's driver's license. The bridge is over 60 meters tall at road level. By the looks of the scene, it would appear that Adam and Elena had jumped to their deaths, a theory that would be confirmed by their actions after leaving the courthouse. A few hours earlier, after being convicted, Adam left the courthouse with Elena and headed out to a local sporting goods store. Whilst there, the Emerys purchased sweatsuits, athletic socks, and 80 pounds of wearable exercise weights. It doesn't take much to connect these dots. Adam and Elena bought these items, weighed themselves down, then jumped from the Newport Bridge to their deaths in the water below. Suicide notes from both Adam and Elena would be received in the mail in the days following. A sad end to a tragic case and no justice for the family of Jason Bass. However, some things don't quite add up. There were no bodies found in the water. There were no signs at all of the Emerys climbing the tall fence and jumping off. There weren't even any witnesses, a strange fact given how busy the road over Newport Bridge can be at this time of day. It wasn't just the lack of evidence that was raising suspicions, it was the behaviour of the Emerys leading up to that evening. After purchasing their weights and clothes, Adam and Elena were seen at a Burger King where they were said to have been laughing, smiling and generally looking happy. An interesting choice for their final meal, and interesting that they would seem so carefree just an hour or so before taking their own lives. In addition to this, Adam was reportedly angry about the cost of the equipment they purchased. Joel Smith, the manager at the sporting goods store on that day, described Elena as being talkative and far from nervous, while Adam seemed concerned about the amount of money he would have to spend. A peculiar thing to worry about if you plan on committing suicide later that evening. There was one more thing that didn't fit the suicide theory: their behaviour in the courthouse. It's noted that Adam and Elena were very talkative whilst in court, and a courtroom tape captured a conversation between the two following Adam's guilty verdict. The tape was brought to a person who was hearing impaired, who communicated through reading lips. After hours of replaying the tape, the lip reader had revealed what was said. Elena said, "We're gonna do what we originally said. You promised me." With this, it was clear that the Emerys had a plan, whether that be a suicide pact or a bold scheme to fool authorities and escape justice. There were reported sightings of Adam in Connecticut in the following weeks. However, at this point he was still on bail and could not be considered a fugitive. Adam, of course, never showed up to court on the day of his sentencing and was charged with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. It would be 9 months before any new developments came to light on the disappearance of Adam and Elaine Emery. On August 30th, 1994, a local fisherman discovered a skull in his net. After testing, it was confirmed that this was the skull of Elena Emery. No remains belonging to Adam have ever been found, and in 2004, Adam Emery was declared legally dead. 6 years later, in 2010, there was still no evidence found to confirm the death of Adam Emery. The FBI received new reports and has been given credible information about the sightings over the years, and so they add him to their most wanted list. A man convicted of murder and unlawful flight, added to the FBI's most wanted list 6 years after being declared legally dead. In 2019, the FBI declared that there is a significant chance that Adam Emery will be tracked down within the next 5 years. Along with sightings of Adam in Connecticut in the month before his sentencing, there have been a number of other sightings reported since his disappearance 27 years ago. The day before his sentencing, the FBI were tipped off to a sighting in Florida. The sightings then follow a pattern of travel, showing Adam moving from Florida to Paris and then to Italy. He is said to have connections to family in Italy, and those that have been following this case, who believe Adam is still alive today, believe that he is in Italy. But what of Elena Emery? She's confirmed dead, her skull having been pulled from the river by a fisherman, but what happened to her? There were reportedly 2 leg bones discovered just before the skull, The bones had scraps of athletic socks still attached, the exact same socks purchased by the Emerys on the day of their disappearance. However, the reports on this discovery are conflicting, with some saying they belong to a man shorter than Adam, and some saying they belong to Elena. Regardless, the skull was identified to be Elena's, which would support the suicide theory. The question, however, is whether or not she really did commit suicide. There are theories floating around that Adam deceived Elena, creating this elaborate suicide hoax where they would jump off the bridge together and avoid the consequences of their actions, while his real intentions were to have her jump from the bridge alone. The discovery of Elena's body would lend credibility to the suicide theory, leaving Adam free to escape and live a secret life. The reported sightings of Adam over the years have muddied the waters surrounding this disappearance. It could well be that Adam jumped from the Newport Bridge that day, ending his life along with Elena's. However, until his remains are discovered, or he is captured alive, we'll be left wondering whatever happened to Adam Emery. As most unsolved cases are, the case of Adam Emery is frustrating yet interesting. Jason Bass's killer was not brought to justice after coming so close, and his family may never get the closure they seek. Adam may have escaped and spent the last 27 years living a new life elsewhere in the world. We may never know the truth. All we can do is wait and allow time to tell. Or not. Thank you for joining me for this story of mystery. If you have any comments, questions or suggestions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments section below. Until next time.